One eye looks at Georgie, the other at us. While you are in that scene, check out Pennywise's eyes again. One is locked straight onto Georgie, but the other one is not. It is looking right at us, like he is fully aware that someone else is peeking into this moment. It creates this strange feeling that the scene is not just happening to Georgie, it is happening to the viewer too. It feels invasive, almost like he is breaking the boundary on purpose, just to make you squirm. The wild part is that there is absolutely no CGI happening here. None. Bill Skarsgård can move his eyes in different directions naturally, almost like some unsettling human chameleon. So what you are seeing is not a special effect. It is real, unfiltered creepiness built directly into the character from the actor himself. Pennywise's eyes change color. Once you slow that first Georgie scene down, something starts to feel strangely wrong. Watch Pennywise's eyes carefully. They do not only glow yellow, they quietly shift into this soft blue, subtle enough to miss unless you are really paying attention. And here is the unsettling part. Bill, Georgie's older brother, has that same gentle blue in his eyes. So it suddenly feels like Pennywise is tweaking himself in real time, adjusting tiny details to make Georgie trust him without thinking. It is a quiet kind of manipulation, almost polite on the surface, but meant to draw a child closer inch by inch. And once you notice that tiny color shift, the entire moment becomes far darker than it first appears. Pennywise removes makeup when acting friendly. There is another tiny thing the movie does that most people never catch. In both chapters, whenever Pennywise is pretending to be friendly or harmless, he is completely missing the upper red lines around his eyes. His face looks softer, almost childlike, like he is trying to blend into whatever innocence he is copying. But the second the act drops and the creature underneath pushes forward, those lines stretch upward, and his entire expression tightens. It works like an instant signal, a quiet shift from "I am your friend" to "you are my next meal," and the room gets colder the moment it happens. Clown's room. During the Neibolt Street house scene, Richie gets trapped in that room packed with creepy clown dolls. At first, it just seems like the movie is playing into his fear of clowns, but there's a hidden detail in there that most people miss. On the left side of the room, there's a doll that looks almost identical to Tim Curry's original Pennywise from the 1990 miniseries. Same hair, same old school suit, the whole look. And on the right side, there's another doll designed to resemble the modern Pennywise we see in the movie. It's a quiet little nod from the filmmakers, a blink and you miss it crossover moment that puts both Pennywises in the same frame. Kids' show. When the boys leave Eddie's house, there's a really creepy background detail almost everyone misses. Eddie's mom is watching a TV show called The Derry Children's Hour. If you listen closely, the hosts are teaching kids the word of the day, and the word is clown. You can even hear Pennywise's voice slipping into the broadcast while Eddie kisses his mom goodbye. This gets even weirder later when Henry Bowers sees Pennywise directly speaking to him through that same show. And once you notice it, you'll see the pattern. Every time an adult in the movie is watching TV, they're watching this exact kids program, and the audio is filled with creepy hypnotic messages. Mrs. Kersh's chest. When Beverly goes back to her old apartment in It, Chapter 2, she meets Mrs. Kersh, this sweet old lady who invites her inside for tea. But honestly, something feels wrong the second the door opens. The voice that greets Bev doesn't even sound like the actress. It sounds more like Bill Skarsgård slipping through the disguise. As the scene goes on, things get creepier and creepier. Mrs. Kersh starts acting strange, wandering around in the shadows, and then there's that quick shot of her chest when she adjusts her clothes. For a split second, you can see this weird cluster of blisters or scars. And here's why that matters. In the original story, Mike once stabbed Pennywise in the chest with a fence post, nearly killing him. So those marks aren't random. They're a huge hint that Mrs. Kersh isn't Mrs. Kersh at all. It's Pennywise hiding inside a new skin. Derry's adults are under a spell. Once you notice it, you can't unsee that something is seriously off with the people of Derry. The movie literally starts with Georgie's death. And even in that moment, there's this woman on her porch watching him talk to a clown in a sewer drain during a storm. She just stands there for a second, then quietly closes the window and goes back inside like nothing's wrong. Then you get to Ben's scene. He's being carved into, screaming, bleeding, trying to escape, and a car just rolls by with a red balloon in the back seat. The adults look over and keep driving. Who does that? And Beverly's bathroom? The entire place is drenched in blood. Walls, ceiling, everything. But when her dad walks in, he doesn't see a thing. He literally asks her why she's acting strange while she's standing in a crime scene. If you go back to the 1990 miniseries, it's the same deal. Balloons bursting with blood in the middle of a library. And the adults don't even blink. They just keep reading their newspapers like it didn't happen. At this point, it doesn't feel like ignorance. It doesn't even feel like denial. It genuinely looks like the whole town is under some kind of spell, hypnotized, blindfolded, completely disconnected from reality. Pretty spooky when you think about it. Mike's vision. This is one detail almost everyone misses. In It, Chapter 2, when Mike tells the losers where it came from and how to kill it, we all just accept it as fact. But Mike's truth is actually very shaky. Mike stays in Derry, becomes obsessed, and eventually meets a local native group whose ancestors once fought it. They give him a hallucinogenic root used in their old ritual. Mike takes it, and the moment the drug hits, he sees everything. A meteor crashing to Earth, the creature arriving, the ritual of Chud, basically the whole origin story. Then he drugs Bill so he can see the same vision. But this is where things get confusing. All of Mike's information about where it came from, how to defeat it, and what the ritual is, comes from a drug-induced vision and old stories. And Mike even hides the fact that the tribe actually failed and died trying to defeat it. So the big question becomes, what if Mike's vision isn't completely real? What if it is influencing what he sees? If that's true, then Mike's truth isn't a solution. It's a trap. And once you see that possibility, the whole thing becomes way darker. The mural in the alley. When the losers pull Ben into that alley to patch him up after the Bowers attack, there's this big black and white mural behind them of a classic 1950s car. At first, it looks completely normal. But when the camera cuts back while the kids are talking, Pennywise's face suddenly appears inside the mural, tucked under the car's wheel arch, just staring at them. It feels like he's literally painted into Derry's history. What makes it even creepier is that later on, when Mike hides in that same alley, and even in It Chapter 2, Pennywise's face is nowhere to be seen on the mural. And if you look even closer, there's a newspaper on the wall about the Bradley Gang, which is a direct reference to the book and another clue that this alley holds more secrets than it seems. The Librarian. Ben's whole library scene is loaded with Pennywise hints before the clown finally attacks him in the basement. While Ben is reading about Derry's dark past, the librarian behind him just stands there staring at him with this unsettling smile. She doesn't move, doesn't blink, just watches him. And here's the creepy part. In the next shot, a red balloon shows up in the exact same spot she was standing, leading Ben straight toward the basement. It's as if Pennywise was using her form to guide him. Then downstairs, things get worse. Bill gets chased by the headless man that turns into Pennywise. But right before the scare, Ben actually bumps into the librarian again. She's standing right where the danger appears next. Stanley's painting. The painting that freaks out Stanley isn't random at all. It's based on the real artwork of Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani, who was known for portraits with long faces, stretched features, and those empty, eerie eyes. And here's the twist. Director Andy Muschietti was terrified of Modigliani's paintings when he was a kid. His family had one at home, and it creeped him out every time he walked past it. So when he needed a personal fear for Stanley, he used that childhood nightmare. That's why Judith looks so distorted. She's basically a Modigliani painting brought to life, and then twisted even further by Pennywise. I love Derry Balloon. Right before Pennywise goes after Patrick Hockstetter in the sewers, there's a tiny detail that's really easy to miss. As Patrick is wandering around, a red balloon floats toward him with the words "I Heart Derry" printed on it. At first, it seems like just another creepy balloon moment, but it's actually a nod to the book. In the novel, another character, Adrian Mellon, is attacked at a carnival and given an "I Heart Derry" hat right before Pennywise drags him into the sewers. It's one of the most disturbing deaths in the story, so by showing that same phrase on the balloon seconds before Patrick dies, the movie quietly links their fates. It's a little hint that the same horrors keep repeating in Derry, and Pennywise has been doing this for a long, long time. Clowns on the stage. When Richie reveals his fear of clowns, there's a small detail that's super easy to ignore. One of the clowns on stage is actually played by Bill Skarsgård himself. That means that Pennywise is literally standing right there in plain sight. And here's the creepy part. None of the other kids on stage even look at him. They don't react. They don't acknowledge him. Nothing. That's because they probably can't see him. Pennywise is taking the form of a totally different clown, messing with Richie's head without anyone else noticing. One hidden frame of Bill's mom's face. When the slide projector starts glitching in Bill's garage, watch the photos of his mom. Her face is hidden by her hair in every single shot until Pennywise begins twisting the images into something else entirely. But here is the wild part. If you scrub through it frame by frame, there is exactly one frame where her real face appears clearly. Just one. It feels like a tiny secret the director left only for the most obsessive viewers who dig through every moment in slow motion. And once you catch it, you cannot stop wondering why it was placed there at all. Turtles. All those turtle moments in it aren't just random cute touches. They're actually hinting at something much bigger in Stephen King's universe. When Ben dives underwater at the lake and spots a turtle swimming by, it seems like an innocent moment. Kids being kids, but it's actually a nod to Matron, the giant cosmic turtle who's basically the opposite of Pennywise in the books. The movie keeps dropping these little hints. Later, when Bill sneaks into Georgie's room at night, he picks up a Lego turtle before he hears a noise and drops it. It's quick, but it's deliberate. In the book, this turtle actually helps guide the losers and gives them advice on how to beat it. The movie doesn't explore all that lore, but Andy Muschietti clearly wants us to know the turtle is still part of the story. The Gapers. Richie is in the town square during the parade, right where he once had that childhood flashback of the Paul Bunyan statue coming to life and chasing him. As he's trying to keep it together, a man with a badly injured face walks up, hands him a paper, and keeps moving. Richie looks down and realizes it's an invitation to his own funeral, dated 2016. That's when things get even weirder. Richie notices Pennywise sitting on the shoulder of the Paul Bunyan statue, grinning and messing with him. And if you look at the background of the scene, the people around Richie are completely frozen. They're not running, not screaming, they're just standing still, staring straight at him. If you look even closer, a lot of them have their mouths slightly open, almost like they're stuck mid-gasp. Later in the movie, when Richie gets hit with the deadlights, he collapses in that exact same pose, mouth hanging open. So it's a subtle little clue that Pennywise isn't just messing with Richie. He has the whole crowd under his control. Bill hurts Pennywise with an empty gun. Later, at the end of Chapter 1, when the losers finally stand up to Pennywise, there is that moment where Bill pulls the trigger on the bolt gun. The thing is not even loaded. Yet Pennywise still reacts like he has been hit, and he even gets injured. Here is where the movie gets clever. It only hurts him because Bill believes it can. In Derry, belief carries real weight, and fear carries real power. The ritual of Chud in the book hints at this strange rule. If the kids believe something can hurt it, then suddenly it can, meaning the empty bolt gun turns dangerous the instant Bill truly decides it is. Rabbi might be Pennywise in disguise. Back in the synagogue, when Stanley is studying alone, his dad suddenly appears behind him. It looks like a simple jump scare trick. Actor hidden behind a vase, step into frame, done. But directors do not usually stage shots like that unless they are trying to communicate something deeper. And the way the rabbi appears, almost too suddenly and far too quietly, feels less like a real parent and more like Pennywise slipping into the room wearing someone else's skin. It has that strange, unnatural timing that mirrors Pennywise's presence, as if the air shifts a second before the danger reveals itself. Stanley holds the Torah upside down. If you freeze the scene for a second, there is a tiny detail that proves Stanley is not paying attention at all. He is holding the Torah upside down. It is quick, but it tells you everything about why he is being scolded and why he is spiraling internally. That small mistake shows how overwhelmed he is, how terrified he is of disappointing his father and failing his responsibilities. And that is exactly the crack Pennywise loves to slip into. He feeds on insecurity more than anything. So the moment Stanley's anxiety flares, Pennywise moves closer, using that fear like an open doorway straight into his mind. Reality warps around Pennywise. When Eddie comes face to face with Pennywise inside the Neibolt Street house, take a look at the edges of the screen. The walls begin to bend in this slow, uneasy way. The hallway ripples like something alive. It almost feels as if the house is reacting to him, rather than just hosting him. The movie uses this effect more than once, almost like a quiet reminder that whenever Pennywise shows up, the world of Derry refuses to stay normal. Reality bends with him, twisting into a nightmare that follows his presence, almost like a warped version of Inception that no one would ever want to step into. And if the world bends the moment he shows up, it only raises the bigger question. If Pennywise can warp reality, what else can he turn himself into? The clown is only one mask. So let us dive into every form he chooses, and why he becomes it in every form Pennywise takes, explained in 11 minutes.